Hello and welcome to When They Popped. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Mary, and we have the most special of special guests today. While they need no introduction, we're going to try our best anyways. We want you to think back to high school, your Converse, your leggings under your skirts. Maybe you had a pair of pink Uggs in your closet, too. The year's 2004. You're watching the hottest new show on TV, The Ashlee Simpson Show. And the episode features a one Ryan Cabrera. He's filmed a music video. You fall deeply in love with him. You could say that collectively, as a nation, we all fell in love with Ryan the first time we laid eyes on him. And on the way down, he saved us from the depths of high school despair. And all these years later, we still haven't been able to get over him. His talent and good vibes were off the charts, so it could not have been more exciting when the rest of the world became obsessed when his first single, On the Way Down, was released.
I took a dive on the way down. I saw you and you saved me from myself.
Ryan has been a staple in the industry the last 20 years, releasing hit after hit like Shine On,
Shine on, you were meant to shine on.
True,
All my life I've waited. This is true.
Photo,
Maybe one day you and me will have one more shot.
and also becoming a recognizable face on arguably the best reality show ever, The Hills. Just last year, he released his new bop, Prescription of You,
No more prescription of you. My prescription of you.
and is currently on the Pop 2000s tour with all of our favorites. We can't wait to hear what's next for him because one thing is for certain, we're not getting over Ryan anytime soon. Ryan freaking Cabrera, welcome to When They Popped.
That was by far one of the best introductions I've ever had in my entire life. So thank you for putting that together. That was hilarious. You had me going too because I was like, wait, which show? Which show? And then you popped the show. I was like, oh, okay.
Try to
Right.
keep it exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
keeping you on
that
your
was great.
toes. Just to keep you on your toes, let's start with a little icebreaker. So,
Okay.
your first single, obviously, was called On the Way Down. And we want you to tell us if these Y2K trends, which seem to be having a huge resurgence right now, are on the way down, aka you can live without it. You don't need to see this trend again. Or if it's on the way up and you're okay with it sticking around. So,
Okay, I
Ryan,
love that.
tell us. Is this trend on the way down or on the way up? Frosted tips.
Oh, always
Ooh.
on the way up. It'll never go all the way down.
I had a feeling you would
Absolutely.
say that.
Of
We agree.
course. That's still my hair is still like you just
Ryan, it sounds like we lost you a little bit.
Hello?
Poor connection.
Ryan, can you hear us?
Testing 1, 2, 3. We lost you at frosting.
Big frosted tips. This is Mary from the editing room. You're going to hear me pop in a few times this episode, providing some clarifying commentary and background, bridging the gaps. We had a few audio issues, but right now we just lost Ryan. His phone overheated in the sauna, but don't worry, he's about to join us back right now.
when y'all were
Oh,
gone,
no.
when I told the whole Dawson's Creek story, and they're like, wait, no one's responding. I was like, I don't think they liked it. And they're like, oh, it's that phone overheated. And then I went and put it in my refrigerator. I had to put it in my fridge so it would cool down.
Okay, that's so innovative. I never would have thought of that genuinely.
Great idea.
Probably not good for the phone, but we're here. We did it. I'm sorry.
Are you a frequent sauna goer? Sure.
Yeah, I do the sauna and the cold plunge every day. So
Oh
we
my
go
God,
to the
cold
hot,
plunging.
and then that thing is 50 degrees.
You and Wifey are doing like a giveaway, aren't you? I feel like I saw that on IG.
Yeah,
It was
actually, right
happening.
now, I think that maybe tomorrow. Yeah, we're giving one of those away. It's amazing.
Cool.
It's especially good with a new father who gets no sleep. So
I'm
that cold plunge is everything I got to wake up.
I am sure. Okay, so Ryan, where we left you, when the phone gave out,
Yes.
you were about to say the most beautiful thing about frosted hair. Doesn't matter what color it is, whether it's pink frosting or, and then you
Exactly.
very dramatically dropped.
Well, what I was going to say was it was inspired to me. I don't know how many Dawson's Creek fans there are listening, but I was a big Dawson's Creek fan. And there was a scene where Pacey went and got his tips frosted. And so then that's when I went and got my tips frosted because I wanted to be like Pacey. I was like, oh, I'm doing that. And then it never went away. Here to stay.
That's how we
Yes.
got your iconic hair.
That
Dawson's
is
Creek.
how it started. In Lance Bass. At least that's what I tell him.
I'm sure he loves to hear that. All right, just a couple more trends, and then we'll get into it since I know we lost a little
Okay.
time there.
Oh, you're
Cargo
good.
pants.
I got plenty of time. So, cargo pants. I say I'm not the biggest fan, even though I have a pair. But I'm gonna say on the way down.
Drama, I love it. How about skinny jeans? I feel like they're
Oh,
poised for a
on the
comeback.
way up, I still have skinny jeans. I can't go baggy anymore. Like I can't do it. If they're even like slightly loose, I just went on a golfing trip with AJ McLean last week, and he was giving me hell because of how skinny my pants were. He's like, dude, he's like, can you even play in those? Like, how do you even walk? I'm like, dude, skinny jeans, they're still a thing.
Can you tell us about that trip? Like, what do you talk with AJ McLean about on a golf course?
We want to know.
Well, we did like a boys golf trip, which I'd never done before, to Pebble Beach, kind of celebrate birthdays and stuff. So it was a blast. We talk about, golf, life, and music. We talk about music a lot and that kind of stuff.
That's
Oh.
amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Ryan, all of those trends that you just described, they're all iconic, almost as iconic as you. And
Oh,
really, that's going to be the theme
stop.
of today's episode. I want to talk about it's true, though.
This is true.
We just want to talk about the most memorable and, yes, iconic moments of your
Yeah.
career. And you can tell us all the juicy tidbits that we didn't know. How does that
Okay.
sound?
I'm down.
So, we love it. The first matter of iconic business is before you went solo, we read that you started in a Dallas-based band with an iconic name, Rubik's Groove. Is that true?
Yeah, it is true, and I have the tattoo to prove it, unfortunately. It was my
Oh.
first one when I was 18, but we did win some awards, though, in Dallas. So I will say the Dallas Observer, which was like our big newspaper, our claim to fame as Rubik's Groove was 2 years running voted, we won worst band name in Dallas. So 2 years running, worst band name in all Dallas. I don't care what it is. Any publicity is good publicity. So we made the paper. We thought we were so genius. We were like, oh my God, it's like a mind-boggling groove is what we described ourselves as. But yeah, I think my keyboard player smoked too much weed, and so that's where he came up with the name. It's pretty bad.
I think it's clever. And didn't you guys open for like Third Eye Blind? Like, that's pretty
We did.
iconic.
Yeah, we got to open for a lot of like Cheap Trick, Third Eye Blind, Sister Hazel. Oh, we opened for Ben Harper once. A bunch of bands that we were huge fans of. I don't know how. Well, actually, I do know how. So my brother at the time was my manager, and he would call up. And I think he would just bullshit his way and tell them like, oh, we've already, sold this many records, blah, blah, which was not true. We hadn't sold a record, let alone thousands of thousands. So he would call the other managers and kind of just play us up and make us sound like we were a bigger deal than we were. But it got us on the gigs and it kept us going. So it worked.
Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it,
Mhm.
which is a great
Yeah.
segue into our next question. I mean, you were discovered by Joe Simpson, right? And then you
Yeah.
signed with him as your manager. You moved to LA. What was that moment like for you? Were you like, holy shit, I made it? Like,
It happened so fast. That part, like I'd been a struggling artist for like 3 or 4 years at that point, playing any show I could. But he saw me and literally goes, "All right, you're moving out to LA with me and my family in our house in Encino." And I was like, "Okay, Joe Simpson, yes, I'll move in with you guys." And so I dropped out of college. That moment, I was in for 3 months. Dropped out, and 2 days later, I packed a bag. I didn't even have a pair of shoes. I just had flippy floppies on and one suitcase. And next thing I know, my next door room neighbor was Ashlee, and that was kind of how that all started. But it took a while to actually get a record deal. That took like years. So it wasn't like oh my God, I've made it kind of thing. I was just happy to be there, happy to be anywhere. I was like, oh my God, I live in California now. Like this is crazy. And then next
Flippy-
thing I know, like 2 weeks later, I back up my rental car into Nick Lachey's brand new BMW. And so that was quite the introduction to LA for me.
oh my God, you had your flippy floppies, a dream, and a traffic violation.
Yeah, yeah. No, luckily Nick was really cool about it. Like he didn't even get mad. But actually, I was trying to. So he was in the driveway. I backed up my Mustang rental car into his car, and I was like, maybe it didn't do any damage. We'll just move on, call it a day. Next thing you know, his alarm starts going off, and then Jessica and Nick walk out of the house with Tina and Joe, and they're like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "About the new car, or whatever." So, but he was really cool. And then next thing I know, Joe Simpson leaves a pair of Prada shoes, out of all shoes, a pair of Prada shoes at my front door. And I'm like, what the hell is that for? I was like, these are ugly. He's like, if we're going to be meeting with the presidents of record labels, you can't be wearing flippy floppies. I was like, why not? He's like, because you have to look presentable. And so then I wore these ugly ass Prada shoes that Joe gave me, tacky as all hell. And then I remember the next thing he was mad because I went into a meeting with like the president of Universal, and he was like, "Are you wearing mismatched socks?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't have any matching socks. I didn't really bring socks or whatever." So then he got mad about that. So then from then on, I never wore matching socks again, just to piss off Joe, because it would drive
Maybe
him
they were good
crazy.
luck.
And I heard a buddy told me that Michael Jackson did the same thing. Other than obviously the iconic white socks. Other than that, he never wore matching socks too, because it was like a good luck thing. So it's funny how that all came about.
I love it.
We
Were
love
you
it.
wearing those Prada shoes when you were signed to Atlantic Records? We've heard that there's a cool story of how that came to be.
Probably not those shoes. When I found out, I was actually taking a shower. Joe called me and he was like, "You got a record deal?" I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Who?" He's like, "Atlantic Records." But I was like, "Wait, that's the same label that a year ago said no." He's like, "That's how the business works, baby." Because and I just kept writing and writing, and then I wrote "True," and then on the way down, and like that's when the label that was like no before called back and was like, "Oh no, we loved him. We always told you we loved him." I was like, "What?"
So is that the same one? Because I was doing my research for this episode, Ryan, and was listening to some of
Okay.
your other episodes, and you told a story about how the guy wasn't, like, listening to you, and so you, like, went
Oh
out in the
yeah,
hallway and you were like, "This guy's not listening to me, so you come listen to." What was that at
Jason
Atlantic? Was it
Plum.
Mary again providing a little background because I got too excited to provide it in our actual conversation. But I had heard a story that when Ryan was trying to get signed, he had a meeting with Jason Flom at Lava Records. And at this meeting, Ryan was like performing, and Jason apparently, allegedly, wasn't really paying attention. And so, understandably, Ryan was like, WTF. And so he went out and brought in girls that he was able to find, like at the label, like walking around, who knows, and was like, I'm putting on a show, you come watch. And so literally brought this audience to come watch him. And I can only imagine that that got Jason's attention, even though he didn't end up signing with that label. It just really goes to show the confidence and star power that Ryan has.
So he
Yeah.
was at Lava, which was a subsidiary of Atlantic. So
Okay.
Lava had like Matchbox 20 and stuff. So they're the same like sister brother family, but that wasn't the guy who ended up signing me. But I did end up working
Okay.
with him later because he was part of the Atlantic team. So then later he was super cool, like just dope. And I remember asking him about, I was like, "Dude, like what the fuck? What was that all about?" And he's like, "That's how I knew you were a star. It's like the second that you went into the hallway, got girls and brought them into the room, I knew you were going to be big." He had that mentality of like, just, I did that on purpose. And I didn't understand that at the time. I was just like, this guy's just rude. He's not even listening to me. I came all the way up here, brought my
Yeah.
guitar and whatever. But it was funny. I ended up working with him a lot after that.
Well, I thought that was a really cool story. And I mean, your debut single performs at a level that most artists can only dream of. On the Way Down debuted in May of 2004. It climbed the charts up to number 15. Was that your like I made it moment, or did you have a moment in that time?
The one thing that I always like dreamt of like that moment of like, okay, I've made it, was
Mhm.
if I ever got my own tour bus. So for me, that
Oh.
moment, like hearing On the Way Down on the radio, like I'll never forget. I was driving on Sepulveda Boulevard in Ventura, right outside of Tower Records, and there was a big ass line. Somebody was in the store doing a signing, and I just pulled by the windows down. I was like, "That's me, that's me," and everyone's like, "Fuck you," and I'm like, "No, that's me singing on the Kiss FM." And everyone's like, "Dude, what the hell?" So that was like my that thing you do moment of like hearing myself on the
Mhm.
radio for the first time. But I never was like, I made it. But when I got my first tour bus, it was Michael Bolton's first tour bus. It was really old, it was
Oh.
really ugly, and it smelled like pee. But it was a tour bus, and that was always my dream. And so that was kind of the moment where I was like, oh my God, I made it. Even though I hadn't even made it yet, I was still like opening for
Well,
Jessica Simpson at the time. But in my head, I was like, okay, I've accomplished like what my biggest dream was, which was getting a tour bus. Which
wow.
then, after you do that and you get used to it, then you set your different goals of like, okay,
Mhm.
what now? I want to play Carnegie Hall. And then you do that and you're like, okay, I want to do Madison Square Garden. Then I'll believe I made it. And then you just keep doing that and do that. And I
Yeah.
realized along the way, like it was actually Gavin DeGraw was at my house and we're having that conversation about stuff like that. And he was like, do you feel like you're successful? And I was like, no. I was like, no, because I was like, oh, I still want to play Angel State or whatever it is. And he kind of gave me a little perspective of like what we do and like how blessed we are to get to do what we do and like how much we've already done. And he's like, you're already
Yeah.
made it. You're already successful. Like you've already done all that. And so I took a step back and I was like, oh, you know what? It is cool to have like dreams and stuff. But like, that moment getting the tour bus, I was like, I did make it. It's something that not everybody gets to do. So I had to allow myself
No.
to be okay feeling that like I had made it. That's a very random story that has
No.
nothing to do with the original question, but sorry, my brain, she's still remembers all those things and feelings. Pretty crazy because now, and even now, like we're like, okay, what is next? What is, the goal now of what we're doing? Yeah.
We're going to want to hear more about that as we get down your timeline. Excited to hear what's next for you. You were around in the height of the TRL era.
Yeah. Thank God. I can't imagine
Oh,
life
thank
without that.
God.
I'm so lucky I got to live that. That was another like made it moment for me because I remember my dream was always, I was like one day when I was at home watching TRL and the artist would always go to the window and there'd just be a sea of people in Times Square. That was another one for me that I was like, oh, I want to do that one day. And the first time I ever got on TRL, I was supposed to do an interview first and then go to the wall. They tell you, segment 2 or 3, like you're going to go to the wall
Yeah.
first, hit your mark, do your interview. And I blacked out and I just went straight to that window. And I was like, this has always been my dream. And they're like, no, you're supposed to do the interview first. I was like, I don't care. So I got to do that. That was a moment that I was like, you know what? I made it. Like I got to do TRL. I got to go to the window and I got to see a bunch of people with the signs and everybody in the crowd on the ground. And I remember asking to perform down there with the crowd. And they're like, no, your performance is up here. And I was like, yeah, but all the people are down there. I was like, I want to be down there with them. So they brought a microphone to stand down. And I went into the middle of Times Square, the sea of people just in the middle of them, and did On the Way Down acoustic for TRL. It was my first TRL moment. It was pretty surreal.
That was your first one? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think that was the first time. Yeah, I only did acoustic. I went back and then I got to do it full band, and then we went on to do it a bunch of times. But yeah, what a freaking time to be alive. The TRL days. There'll never be anything like it.
Yes.
So I'm glad I got to live that moment, and I feel lucky because I got to actually have my own TV show after
Yeah.
TRL every day. So I had a show called Score, which we shot 40 episodes of. So every day after TRL, I got to be like right after TRL. So I was like, that's so cool. I finally, after the Ashlee Simpson Show, of course, I had Score.
That's really cool.
We always say to each other, we feel so grateful that we grew up in the era we did.
So speaking of the Ashlee Simpson Show, that's how a lot of us were introduced to you. And I think it was episode 3, we saw the making of the On the Way Down music video. Was it
Was it sweet? I've never actually seen the show, but that's cool.
God.
Yeah, because we filmed it in Austin. We did film the making of that. See, that was Joe Simpson cross-branding marketing at its finest.
Oh,
The night of that music video was the first time we ever actually kiss, like legit kiss.
really?
We were going to ask, so I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, that night, I remember in the middle of the dance floor, on the floor, we kissed for the first time.
Whoa. So you filmed the video the next day? Was the kiss in the video before
No,
that
that
or
night.
after that?
Well, I think we filmed for 2 days. You do it out of order, depending on location and scenes and all that. But I think that would be technically the first kiss, but it didn't count because it was in a music video. And you could tell that wasn't even in the script or it wasn't even the treatment. She just did that because you could see my head go back. Because I was like, wait, what? I was like, all right, this is awesome.
So it was Joe's idea to put her in the video, or you were like, I want to, where you guys were so close? Like, was it just kind of it happened or?
Probably a combination. I think I know Joe just knew that it would be a great, marketing thing. Mine as well, because her music was out and she was doing so well at the time. And then we were already best friends. We did everything together.
Right.
But then didn't turn romantic until after that. So then I was like, you have nobody to blame but yourself, Joe. So you did it.
No, you said you didn't watch the show. So
No.
I was going to ask if there were moments you were glad that were captured on camera, but it sounds like it doesn't really matter. Uh-oh, Ryan.
Oh no. Is your phone frozen again? On the way. I have On the Way Down stuck in my head right now.
I know, I was listening to it today. I've been listening to it a lot lately, actually. You can hear us, Ryan. I hope you can hear us. Let me text him. I will put you out of your misery. Kelsey and I went on to discuss the cultural impact of Love Island and sing more Ryan Cabrera songs before he was able to rejoin us here. He's back.
Unbelievable.
He's back.
We're back.
Just being outside, my phone overheated again.
Oh my gosh.
Where are you in LA, Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how hot is it there right now?
I think 104 or something.
Oh my God.
Okay, where are you guys?
I'm in Florida.
That's a different kind of heat, though.
Like swimming in the air, hot.
Walk to your but okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, what was the last little bit?
Okay, so where I think we lost you was I asked if you were happy that any of the moments were caught on camera, but
That's right. Yeah. The great thing about that show is that literally was our lives. It literally just followed us. They took a camera that we lived at the same apartment building complex, right down the hall from each other. At this point, we've already moved out of the Simpson house, got our own apartments when we were filming, and they just filmed us all day. Whatever you got, and it just worked. And then obviously later in life, I had a different girlfriend and was on a different show, which was quite exactly the opposite. It was, you had your bullet point scripts of like what you're going to do today, and like, and you're going to film it different ways. And it's like, okay, you break up with her, she breaks up with you. So that way we can, make a storyline from that. So the cool thing about Ashlee's show was like, that was legit. Like that was just me and her being me and her. Like, I think there was like a time where we couldn't find our car, like after I played the show and we got in a fight or something. And then I legit could not find my car.
Damn it! Where the heck is the car? I'm not.
I need to try P1.
Let's try P3. Try P3. What level is that? What level is that?
Where do you want to go, sir?
I don't know.
Well, come on in here. Are you going up or down?
I don't know.
You don't know if you're going up
I
or
think I've
down?
been to every floor and I've never.
Are you going to the street or to your car?
To the car.
I want to try P4.
Do you know what level you parked on?
No.
It took hours and hours just going back to the same thing. And then I think I ate a flower that night or something, which I don't know was ever made. I don't know what made it or what didn't really. I've seen.
I remember when you got her flowers.
Or yeah, she was like, you need to get me a cardination or something.
Yeah, she called it a carnation.
Then why are you mad at me?
I am
You am what?
mad at you.
I know why. Get over it.
Because.
I was singing to you the whole time.
But it's not even that. You didn't give me a Valentine's card or anything.
Gosh.
Not even a cardination.
Like that was like legit. She was mad at me. So in order to make her not mad at me, I ate the flowers. It tasted like chlorophyll. I still remember that.
Eat it.
No.
Eat the flower. Swallow it too. Oh. Come on, do it. You have to swallow it.
I can taste like the fermentation.
Just why don't you get it over with?
I'm trying. That tastes like chlorophyll. I'm gonna be sick.
Oh my God. So you're saying one of these was true reality TV and the other one not so much.
The only thing true about the other one was that me and Audrina actually, we were dating in real life, but like everything I know was all just kind of for show.
Understood. So, okay, we need to talk about something very important from 2004, and that is your hair. And it still is very important now. We literally asked some listeners for questions, and a lot of them wanted to know about your hair, what goes into your hair, how do we keep it looking so good today? Like, can you drop the hair care routine?
It's quite different now than it was before. Before it was literally get out of bed, the messier the better. Day 2, trying to find a spot where I don't lose you. Wi-Fi is the Wi-Fi okay right here? Okay, cool.
You're great.
I feel like we're on an episode of Cribs.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to find a spot where.
No, it's great.
I love it.
Breathing.
Oh, I think you muted yourself, Ryan.
Oh, there it is.
There we go. It's like a common of errors at this point. I love it.
Yeah. So you said you were editing Genius. I can't wait to hear how this all turns out.
Don't you worry. It'll be perfect.
I'm not worried. What were we talking about?
Oh, your hair.
Oh, yeah. So basically before I would do it, upside down. Got to do it upside down. Get the most height possible. A little trick there. And then it was just get it really messy and dirty and then wake up and then just hairspray it. So just keep it there. Because like however it was messed up, like the more messed up it was, the better.
And now?
And now it's pretty much the same except for it just goes over to the side. But still great height.
Ooh.
It's all about the height.
Are we sponsored by like a gel brand or something we can promote?
No, I'm actually shocked because people have always asked me like, how would you not do like a hair deal? I was like, I think we did something with Bedhead a long time ago because they used to just send boxes of product, but I never did I should have done my own like hair pomade or something back in the day.
The new business idea, 2025 goals.
Yeah. I'm rocking the troll hair right now.
Oh, yeah. For your daughter. Oh, I can't wait to ask you a little bit about her. But okay, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. We're Take It All Away. Came out in 2004. It went platinum. Huge deal. True or false? We heard they literally did not make enough copies of your CD. And they underestimated your success. Yes.
I know. I remember being so mad because what had happened was at the time they weren't prepared for the success of Ashlee's show. I was a brand new artist and they didn't really know what was going on the MTV side because with On the Way Down, it was a slow burn. Like it was a slow rise, which is great because that's what creates longevity. I didn't understand at the time, but the guy who signed me was like, no, you want it to be slow, because it was like at 100 and then it was at like 97 the next week. And then the next week is like 94. And I'm like, what the heck, man? Like, because you want to like go top of the charts. No. You want the slow like mountain rise or else things just rise and fall. So it plateaued. So it was a slow on the singles side, but then on the, television side, Ashlee Simpson Show was huge. The label didn't realize that, so they were thinking I was just going to come out with the first record, and they're going to take, their time to debut it. And then when everybody went to go buy it, the stores didn't have enough, and they were all like sold out. It's like I had a bunch of friends and family like always hitting me like, "We can't find your CD." I was like, "It should be in there, like it came out," but nobody had it. So I think I debuted at like number 8, but had the records been in there, who knows what could have happened?
Ah,
You're like, I
Who knows?
swear, it's there.
Yeah, I
it's
swear it's
there.
out. I promise. I swear, I really did sign a record deal.
And so John Resnick, lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls, produced that album, correct? Like, what was it like
Yeah.
working with him? That's crazy.
Oh my God. That was another one. Yeah, that was such a surreal thing. But it was wild. So we recorded the majority of the record in his house. So
Oh.
I'd go to Johnny's house every day. We'd record in his living room, and he had this dope studio set up. But me being, the naive kind of kid that I was at the time, me and him, we'd battle it out. Like we would get into some things, and here's this kid from Dallas who thinks he knows it all, arguing with Johnny Resnick, who has massive hits and one of the biggest bands of all time. And he's like, "Who the hell is this kid?" I'm like, "No, I want to do it this way." Because we would argue like certain things, like, because I like to do a lot of falsetto. And then the song True, the chorus goes into this falsetto.
I've waited all my life to cross this line.
I did that on purpose, because it's what
Mhm.
makes the song. And he didn't really like the falsetto. He was like, "You sound like a sissy," kind of thing.
Ah,
And no, I was like, "It's kind of nice."
no.
But he didn't like it. So we'd argue about that. And then eventually got to the point to where the head of the record label at the time, he had to fly to LA from New York and have sessions with us before we'd start every day, like almost like a married couple. Because when you're producing a record together, it's like a marriage, because you're creating this baby, and you see things different ways. So we'd have a session before any recording would go on. We'd sit in the living room, and he would be like, "Okay, what are you guys going to get done today? How are you going to do it?" Well,
Mm.
kind of like a mediator, like a shrink
Yep.
almost, to get us through that record. But I think you could actually hear the tension in the music.
Mm.
So it came out, exactly the way it was supposed to. And it was quite an interesting experience. I didn't realize till after the fact. I was like, holy shit, because Johnny Resnick was one of my favorite, still is one of my favorite
Sure.
voices, songwriters of all time. And I was like, oh my God, I just made an album with Johnny Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls. Like, holy shit, like what the hell? But when you're in it, you're not thinking about it. You're there I was just happy
Yeah.
to be making the first album. And then after, I was like, oh my God, can't believe I just did that. Like, that was fucking pretty cool.
So cool. It's your first
Yeah.
album to be able to do
First
that.
album. Yeah. I remember
Incredible.
going home crying all the time too. Like, Johnny Resnick called me a sissy. Oh, it was hilarious.
Like,
Oh, we were like delirious though, because we were working till like 3 or 4 in the morning every single day and night, and it was quite the process.
Well, another question I have about this album, we all have our favorites. You have the singles off it, obviously. Is there a
Mhm.
track from this album that you feel is criminally underrated?
From that album, maybe what song I really like? It was called "She's."
She's the only love I know. And now she's gone away.
Which was obviously never meant for radio because it was like a really slow power ballad.
Mm.
I think that song could have been on like a big soundtrack.
It's beautiful.
And then I remember the first time I ever did New Year's Eve MTV, Kelly Clarkson was like, "Oh my God, you know what song is my favorite song ever?" He's like, "She's is so good." I was like, "Oh, thank you, Kelly Clarkson." I was like, "That's awesome." I went back and listened. I was like, "Yeah, that was kind of like a pretty cool song," I thought.
It's a beautiful song, and Kelly Clarkson is a stan. That's pretty cool in itself also.
So I was like, "Oh, if Kelly Clarkson loves it, let me go back." I never played it live because it was such a just random track on the album. But then after that, I was like, "Oh, all right." I was like, "I'll start playing that." So then I started playing it on tour.
Amazing. And Ryan, by the time this episode airs, it'll almost be this album's 20th birthday. We are shook. We're so grateful that it exists. And to celebrate, we heard this means maybe a re release of some of these tracks or some surprise features. Can you share any hints with us?
Indeed. We have a couple. There may be. So, yes, we recorded the 20th anniversary edition of On the Way Down. Got a lot of my friends on there. Maybe Nick from Walk the Moon kind of did his things. It's dope because I was just like, do your thing. Like, don't listen On the Way Down. And then you do Nick, and he came in and he came up with this part that's made the song just a completely different level. And it sounds like a Walk the Moon kind of part, but to On the Way Down, which is dope. And then there could be, one of your favorite Backstreet Boys on there. It could be a member. I won't give it all away, but there's definitely an eclectic collaboration. Like Nash from Hot Shell Ray is on there. So you have like pop punk
Wow.
royalty, and you have boy band royalty, and then you have rock royalty, all blessing me with their creative talents. Really special. And then there's also going to be a rock recording of it. So there's going to be two different recordings, something that nobody would ever like have expected of what they sound like now.
Oh my God. That is so exciting. So will that be out on the 17th?
Push back just a little bit, trying to balance the dad life and then getting in the studio and all that kind of stuff. It kind of pushes things back a little bit because obviously the baby takes precedence overall. So, but I did just get all my vocals done for the rock version. So that's going to be wrapping up soon. And then we're just waiting on one more vocal from certain artist that's going to, I think, kind of take it to the next level. So once we get that, and then we'll be popping out. The good news about this day and age is that, I can get the vocals tomorrow and the song could be out the next week. So it's not like back in the day where it'd be like, okay, we need 6 months to prepare.
Well, we are so excited. I did not expect to hear some of those names and people involved. So that will be incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've worked with some of the most iconic artists of our time, like Avril Lavigne. You worked with her on her album, Head Above Water. You got a songwriting credit on Tell Me It's Over.
Tell me it's over. If it's really over.
What was it like working with Avril?
It was great. I mean, she's been a friend for such a long time. So it was funny after a while, like when we were just sitting around the piano and we've always kind of messed around. We've always bounced ideas back and forth off each other. We're like, we've never actually wrote a song together. Like, that's so weird. We've been friends for 20 years and, we've always like played each other new music before it comes out and stuff, kind of things like that. So then just sitting around the piano, we just started vibing and then came up with this beautiful song and then took it to a producer that I work with and kind of took it to another level. But it was cool because it was different and outside of the box. For her, I think that was a time when she was like really wanted to explore her vocals and show off like how incredible of a singer she is. So it was cool to be a part of something just like a little bit different and left of center for an artist who obviously is super iconic in the pop punk lane, but just to do something a little different, give it a little taste of and that was kind of what we were listening to, me and her at the time, was kind of the old jazzier vibe like that. So that was cool coming up with that song together.
Are there any artists on your dream collaboration list who you haven't worked with yet?
Well, the dream list when I was, first starting out, when it's how I ended up working with Johnny, was my publisher asked me that same question. He's like, if you could work with anybody, who would it be? I said, Johnny Resnick from Goo Goo Dolls or Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. So then literally a year later, he's like, I talked to Johnny. He loves your stuff. He wants to work with you. I was like, wait, what? I was like, I was just joking. And so I ended up signing with Nick Littman and Michael Littman, who managed Rob and Matchbox. So other than just, kind of being homies, we've never worked together. That would still be on the list. Like Dave Matthews, that would, of course, always be on the list.
Love Dave.
So after you had your first album and then you released You Stand Watching in 2005. So just a year later, which is pretty quick. Was there like more nerves or pressure for your sophomore album, like after the success of your first one?
Even have the time to really think about that, because it was so quick. The reason being was I got my own show on MTV Scores. Once I got my own show and they said, we want you to perform at the end of every episode, like a new song. So at that time, the label was like, dude, we need you to write a new album. I'm like, wait, what? And so I just wrote that album in like a month. But it's still to this day, like one of my favorite pieces of work. I still love like filming Shine On music videos, still one of my favorite moments in my entire career. And I love like the vibe of that record. But yeah, it was rushed a little bit, like only for the promotional aspect. Typically you'd want, like a year of touring to kind of promote and all that kind of stuff. But because I was filming the show, I couldn't tour. I still wanted to like go to Europe. I still wanted to promote Take It All Away because we weren't done with that record. It was still selling, but they were like, we need new music. So it happened too fast for me to really even think about pressure or whatnot at that time. So I just was like, shit, I got to write real quick. Wrote the album in a month. I produced myself, recorded it at my house just so we could get it done. And then boom, boom. She was out. I was like, yeah, I didn't even realize that until I saw the order. I was like, wait, next year will be the 20th. Yeah, I'm watching. I was like, how is that possible? I was like, oh my God, I put it out a year later and I remembered it was because of score. I still thought like Take It All Away had a lot of life left. So it kind of got short from what we could have done because I never toured Europe, never toured South America, never got to go to the Philippines, all these areas that they didn't even have the album physically there. Like, the album was really big in Australia and I never toured there. So, that was kind of one of the label, I think, misses where they were thinking more about like, how can we maximize on this TV show versus it's like, whoa, hold up. Like, we're not done with Take It All Away. Come on.
Yeah.
Needed more time to do even more. But with that being said, I wouldn't have You Stand Watching and some of those songs, which like It's You is one of my favorite songs.
Baby, it's you. When I look up in the sky, I see you. And then I turn and close my eyes, and it's you.
Like, I can't imagine not having a Shine On or photos and songs like that,
Shine On is one of my all-time favorites, so thank you for that gift. So we lost a little bit of audio for this clip, but basically Ryan told us that Shine On is one of his all-time favorite music videos ever. And it was also kind of a crazy day and experience. And he went on to explain why.
Still feel bad about that because we filmed on a Saturday and the PCA, those don't know, is like the only highway to get to a beach in Los Angeles. So Malibu, Santa Monica, Venice is only the PCH. So if you're trying to go to the beach that day, I feel real bad because we shut it down for 6 hours. So cars were just stopped there. And I just remember being like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So, and I got to film it with all my friends. So that shit was hella fun.
So what track on this album would be your criminally underrated?
It's You. It's the ballad, but I mean, second ballad. I guess I got a thing for ballads. And then maybe Hit Me With Your Light.
Hit me with your love. Will you catch me if I fall? I would give my life if you meant anything at all.
So that was then. This is now. You spent the summer touring with Pop 2000s. You were with Chris Kirkpatrick, O-Town, BB Mac. Tell us about this experience.
Oh my gosh, 7 years later. So we originally, it was me and O-Town. We went on tour with 98 Degrees 7 years ago called the My 2K Tour. And it was incredible. So much fun. And we didn't want it to end. So me and O-Town, we shared a bus on that tour. And we are like, dude, we should just continue doing this. We're like, all right, well, let's just try it. So the next summer, it was me, O-Town, and Aaron Carter at the time, 6 years ago. And we were shocked, like how many people came out and were loving the tour. So we're like, man, I guess let's just keep it going. So then we kept it going. And then the next year, and then we added Sugar Ray. So we had Sugar Ray. So it was me, O-Town, Sugar Ray. And then we just kind of kept like, it was always me and O-Town. And then we had Lance Bass as our host. And then when Lance had his babies, he kind of took a break. So then Chris jumped in and now we've been with Chris for a couple years and added BB Max. So the tour, it just keeps getting an LFO. So it just keeps getting like bigger and better. And as long as the people keep coming, like we ain't stopping. So 7 years later, it's still going.
Well, we're going to be at the Foxwood show in October, and we are so excited to see everybody in one roof. It'll be our first Pop 2000s concert.
It's fun because we're having like genuine time of our life, which I think like translates, like it's not a job for us. Like we're not just up there like, okay, I just kind of want to play. Like we're legit like having so much fun. And it's not something that like we got tired of, so it wasn't like, okay, we'll do it for 2 or 3 years. And then it's like, no, every time we're all like kind of doing different songs, like adding different songs, taking songs out. So it's definitely a blast. And I think a lot of people come, maybe loving one band or, loving two bands. And then they walk away like loving all 4 or 5 because everyone has their own different vibe, like the beat really ridiculously good looking and have the voice of angels. And then O-Town has the energy, and Chris gets up there and obviously does the soundtrack of our lives with the NSYNC stuff and LFO, of course. So it's just nonstop, like hit after hit after hit. It's crazy.
Do you have any like funny stories from the road? Do you guys like do prank wars or anything on each other? Like, how do you keep life interesting on the road?
I usually am the one like the prank guy, but I try not to do too much with these guys because I know everyone. When you have like a bunch of the guys, you never know if like one of the guys might get a little bit. So I know who I can mess with, who I can't. But for the end of this tour, I do have something planned. I can't say it just in case the guys are listening.
Woo.
fun and mess with each other. Can't think of anything specific that I'm allowed to tell.
Got it.
That's the sign of a good memory, that when you can't tell your stories publicly,
Write a book. It would be freaking amazing, but
Oh.
that I would never tell.
So, Ryan, you're known for doing like 100 shows a year. That's an insane pace. You must love touring and just interacting with your fans, but that has to be really grueling and tough for you. Like, what keeps you going? May I say, we're so grateful for it too. We know you have a family at home, and it just means so much as a fan to have the opportunity to see you.
About like one day, we're gonna have kids and they're gonna come on the road with us, and they'll get backstage and like kind of grow up around each other, and like now that's finally happening. So like Lex and the baby have been out on 3 different tours already, so racking her up those miles. So when she turns 16, she's like, "Oh my god, I already have so many miles." But yeah, but it's fun to do something different and like grow up on the road and to get to experience different cities and different cultures. I think is really important. So now my new inspiration, obviously, is the family and getting to see Hendrix on stage. She doesn't understand what's going on yet, but she sees it up there and she'll start like bopping. So she loves music. So when I look to the side, see her like kind of bouncing up and down, I'm like, this is the best. So that's definitely probably the inspiration of like what keeps us going. So like if it's like a one-off or like 1 or 2 dates, like we don't really bring her because it's not enough. But if we're out for like 2 weeks or something, we'll get like a bus, and then she kills it. She has to stay up past her bedtime, so she loves it.
Oh, that's so cute. I want to talk about you and your wife. I have your new music up first, so I'm going to do that first, and then I want to get back to your wife and Hendrix. But I wanted to talk first about your 2014 song, House on Fire.
We can burn hotter than a house on fire. Come on, let me see your fire. Heaven, help me be your flame.
It topped the dance charts. It was such a fun, fresh breath of air. I really enjoyed it. It seems like a little bit of a new direction for you. Like, what was the inspiration behind this song?
Gosh, 2014 is 10 years ago. I don't remember where I was at the time. It was so long ago. That was a funny one because I kind of picked up the acoustic guitar again because I picked up the electric for my third album. And then when I put out House of Fire, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and do like a little acoustic thing. And then somebody turned it into a dance song. So it was funny because I just kept watching it like climb the dance charts. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, that's so weird. It's not even a dance song. But things happen in funny different ways. I think at that time it was just about kind of like not setting the world on fire, but like, living every day to the fullest and just having a good time no matter what you're doing and just loving life. Another music video that was really fun to shoot.
Well, let's talk about one that might be a little fresher in the memory. Prescription of You from last fall.
I'm feeling, I need it. Nobody got me on the floor. You got it, I want it. The medicine and the cure, 'cause you
I love the album art for this one, by the way. I think it's so cool. This is such a good song, like a sexy bop. Tell us the creative process behind this one.
Yeah, that was when me and my wife first met. And well, not first, after we were like together for like 3 or 4 months. She was being very, she was, she was a good girl. She was smart, so she was like, I want to get to know. Basically, she made me hold out for a while. I was more of like just like a cheeky, like kind of fun way of like, what's up, girl? Like, come on. Not in like a weird way, but just like just kind of sexy fun, like you said. And I thought it was funny, like, what do I got to do to get you out of those heels?
what's the deal? What I gotta do to get you out of those heels?
She knew what she was doing.
I love that song. I think that's a great song. I think it's awesome that your beautiful wife was the inspiration. Can we talk about her a little bit? I heard a fun story about how you two kind of got connected and maybe some drunk FaceTimes from Orlando. Like, are you willing to share that with us?
Who told you that? Yes, it's true. But somebody started a rumor online that we were dating, and we kind of connected through social media after that point because we were just kind of laughing about it. We're like, I heard we're dating. And then we just started talking, and I was on an airplane on the way to Orlando, 5-hour flight from LA, and we were just texting the entire flight, having so much fun. And then I was like, well, it's been really lovely, like, chat with you, getting to know you, but I'm getting off plane to Orlando right now to play some shows. And she's like, oh my God, I live in Orlando. I was like, well, what are you doing tomorrow night? And she's like, I don't know. I was like, do you want to come to our show? She's like, maybe. I'm like, excuse me? I was like, wait, what do you mean maybe? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, do you have plans? She's like, no. I'm like, oh. So that was how I do it from jump. Like, she was a real pistol, to say the least. But long story short, on the plane, we were talking about how much, when we're on the road, like we prefer FaceTiming over just talking on the phone. But so then when I got there that night. I hadn't seen Kirkpatrick in a while. So Chris wasn't the host of our tour yet, but me and Chris are longtime friends. So we were doing Epcot with Joey Fatone. So it was me, Chris, Kirkpatrick, Joey Fatone. I knew I was going to see him that night. And, we were all like drinking buddies when we see each other. We get in some trouble sometimes. And I knew, I told myself I was going to write her phone number down on a piece of paper in the hotel and wipe it from my phone because I was going out with Chris. I'm going to get wild. I'm like, don't get drunk and FaceTime this girl. She doesn't know you. She doesn't know your sense of humor. She doesn't know whatever. She doesn't know anything about you. So just whatever you do, don't do it. And I was going to write her number down and then just take it away. But I go, you know what, Ryan? You're an adult. You can go out and have some cocktails and not get drunk and FaceTime with a girl that you don't know. And so I was like, all right, fine. Next thing I know, I wake up the next morning, I look at my phone and I see 2 answered FaceTimes to Lexi. And I was like, oh no. And so I text her just to kind of feel the water out. And mind you, I don't remember anything. I don't remember shit. I think I got kicked out of the bar that night for tipping over a chair. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. So I text her. I said, hey, you still coming to the show tonight? And then she just texted me back. She goes, only if you promise me one thing. I'm like, shit. I was like, what's that? And she goes, never FaceTime me drunk like that ever again. I was like, all right, that didn't go well. I was like, shit. I was like, I did it. Oh, well. So then that night she came out, kind of no told me, but then I was like, you know what? Do you want to go see a movie tomorrow? Like just in the middle of the day, like whatever. She was like, yeah, sure. So we went and saw Last Christmas and then kind of just chatted through the entire movie. Still saw some of the movie, but we were just talking the whole time, like laughing. And that was kind of the start of it.
That's such a great story. And I mean, you guys have obviously gotten married since, and you are now a girl dad to Hendrix. Congratulations. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but how has being a girl dad changed everything?
Oh, it's the best. As I said at the time, like when we didn't know, I was like, I don't really care. I had no preference, girl or boy. But now that having a girl and you get to realize, what it's like I'm so stoked I had a girl. In the future, girl, boy, I don't really have a preference, but I would not be upset if I had all girls. Love girl dad. So much fun. She loves swimming, so I get to take her swimming. And you just feel like so cool just to be their protector and, kind of try to create a future for her. Just like nothing but love and joy. She smiles so big all the time. Like she's like one of those really smiley babies. So that kills me. So I'm very, very lucky. And she wakes up, she's so happy. Like it's pretty amazing. Like there's nothing better than that. Waking up in the morning is my favorite thing in the world. Like getting her out of bed. Now waking up in the middle, not so much, not really my jam, but it is what it is. It's worth it.
Well, how old is she now, Ryan?
8 months.
So when do they start sleeping through the night? I don't know.
Somebody get me a pamphlet because I have no idea. Like my buddy Ryan Key from Yellow Card had a baby at the same time. And I was like, does he sleep through the night? And he's like, yeah, from week 2. I'm like, fuck you. I was like, geez. I was like, I think my baby's broken. We've heard all the tips and tricks and like stuff. Like we've tried everything. It ain't working.
Well, if anyone has tips, let Ryan know. Seriously. But do you play music for her, Ryan? Like, will you strum on the guitar for her? Yeah.
She plays the piano. Like she loves hitting the keys. Like, and she knows music well. I sing her the Mornings Here song from Friends every morning, and she goes crazy. And then from time to time, I'll sing her True because I sang her True when she was in the womb. So if ever she's kind of crying or anything, I'll just lightly sing True and kind of rock her. She loves it.
That is insane. I tried to sing my niece to sleep, and she taps my shoulder and she goes, "No music." So maybe if I had the voice of Ryan Cabrera, she would let me sing to her.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. No music.
I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I don't really like it because, kids are just so honest. Like, they're going to tell you the truth. That's why one day when she's old enough, she'll be my critic of who I play music to because she'll be like, yeah, I don't like that. I'm like, all right.
Have you written songs for her or about her?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the works of rewriting the lyrics to True to make a Hendrix Rouge version. So I'm going to do that also. Trying to get around to the time I have half of it written, but I was thinking about some of the lyrics. I'm like, oh my God, a lot of these actually relate to my feelings with the baby as well. So I'm just kind of finagling some lyrics to, instead of being, a love song for a partner, be a love song for a daughter. So that'll be fun.
The song has so much versatility. It's so beautiful. That's incredible. Now, Ryan, we've taken so much of your time, but we need to know what next iconic thing can we expect from you? Obviously, besides the re-release of Take It All Away, is there new music coming, more tour dates? What's up?
Well, on the way down for 20th anniversary, I'm going to be recording True as well, 20th anniversary, which I plan to make like a little duet. I'm trying to see if I can get my wife to sing on it with me. So that would be really fun. And then we have a new record written, but I think we're going to do it in like little EP stages. So what I wanted to do was like maybe like 3 different EPs for like different moods. So like the pregame kind of one that's like what you would listen to like if you were going to pregame like before, like when you're just at home, and then like an EP of like if you were out like somewhere upbeat, like kind of like Prescription of You kind of vibe. And then just like that when you want to relax, like the after bar, when you're getting home, so a little bit more on the slow side. So I would think probably I have a full album wrote, but I'm going to really release them in like 3 to 4 song stages from here on out, and then just continue writing and stuff, and then pop 2K for the rest of the year, and then probably again next year. We'll see what happens.
I love that format. That's awesome. Looking forward. Can't wait to support you in whatever you do. You're an artist of our time, and we're so glad that you're still out touring and playing music.
We bow to you, Ryan. Thank you so much for your time. We're so grateful to have this conversation with you, and thanks for sharing your stories with us.
Thank you. I was really tired, so you guys boosted my energy, so thank you.
Oh, I hope we can see you on Foxwoods.
Sure, they get you guys passes and stuff so you can come say hi.
We would love to. Thank you so much.
Some When They Popped merch. We'll bring you a little t-shirt.
Do it.
Yes.
All right, well, I'll see you then. I think my mom's going to be there, so you get to meet my mom.
Mrs. Cabrera?
Debs is going to be there, yeah, and her sister.
Oh my God. We love moms. Do they drink? Do we have a little sangria before?
Oh, do it. Get Deb drunk. She's hilarious. You give her one drink and she'll be it.
Me too.
Well, the show is like kind of on Halloween weekend. Do you think anyone's going to be dressing up for Halloween, or is it just going to be me and Mary in Halloween?
Besides me, I've been known to dress up at Halloween shows, so be on the lookout. Last year I was Buddy the Elf, so I'm gonna have to start thinking about that. Yeah, I'm glad you just said that because I'll have to bring an outfit. I don't know if anybody else is, but I think your boy probably is going to be, so we'll see what happens.
We won't be alone.
Okay.
Good to know.
All right, I'll see y'all there. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, that was our conversation with Ryan Cabrera. We're freaking out because he was just the coolest, most down to earth. Like, I want to hang out with him.
I know. We keep having people on that I'm like, no, but can we be friends? Like Trevor, Ryan, like I just want to be friends with all of these people.
No, the stories that he was dropping were so cool. I love that he mentioned that Yellow Card, like all of these amazing groups.
Gavin DeGraw being like the sage advice giver. I was like, seems so wise, so wise.
I'm low-key. I went through a deep Gavin DeGraw phase. Just seeing Ryan light up talking about his daughter was like, I think the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Hendrix. I know. He is such a great girl dad, you can tell.
Great partner. I love the way he spoke about his wife too. Just Ryan is a king and also very respectful about, Ashlee, and
yes,
dropped some Hills knowledge on us. Like this really covered everything that I wanted to know. I'm so grateful.
I know. So everybody, please make sure to support our guy Ryan. Go to the Pop 2000s tour. His newest single, Prescription of You from 2023 is really fun, really good. And we have the Take It All Away re-release version coming up sometime in the next couple months. And it's got lots of really cool features according to Ryan. So are we guessing it's AJ? Right?
I think I'm just guessing based on the fact that they were golfing together.
And he said
that they're really close buddies. Yeah.
Last weekend, it has to be AJ.
I know. I'm like, what do you talk about? And it's like, duh, they're humans, Kelsey. I'm sorry. I embarrassed us. I know. I just got so excited.
I'm sure they talk about secret stuff, but also just the kids and,
right. Or they're like, let's not talk about work.
Yeah. Let's not talk about work on this trip. But Ryan Cabrera. Grateful for him and grateful for you, listeners, for tuning in. This was a big get for us, and we could not be more excited.
Leave us 5 stars, subscribe, follow us on When They Popped Pod. We're going to be posting some really fun throwback Ryan videos, some clips from Ashlee Simpson Show, all the things you want to see as you listen to this episode to bring you right back to that time. Thank you all so much for listening. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.